Right here, we have TP.
Go, I think go. Go. The big. Nice, man. I'm coming. This mega good. Just fight. Chill. We kill them.
Go!
With Xiaohu not having flash, Humanoid flashes in and scatter the weaken of the unleashed power enough. Razork looking for the kick, but he does just have the damage, tanks the tower and escapes. And now Fnatic try and turn and burn and do everything they can to get off TheShy. But once again, TheShy is just too damn good. He dodges away as Light goes on a killing spree, a double for him.
Light on Aphelios is lights out for Fnatic in Game 2. And even though they had the early lead, maybe they were feeling it a bit too much. And the comp wasn't as much as the game progressed. What are you showing us?
I'm worried about step 3. I hope that doesn't happen.
No.
Step 2 was Kalista.
Can you please? It has a little eraser function. Just erase it, please.
I don't want
For
this
my
to
sanity.
happen.
For my sanity.
I feel like at this point, Razork deserves a win, man.
I mean, this
two
is,
games back to back.
Is this not any Lee Sin solo queue game ever?
True.
You get
you
and
get
then you
ahead,
type in chat and you just flame
and
everybody.
then you lose.
Yeah, unfortunately. But there's much more to this game than that. The Baron also, and I think you had a Fnatic who again had a really strong early game. They were feeling themselves. Razork was playing actually very, very, very well. So where did they lose the plot, or where did Weibo take control?
So specifically, the turning point in the game, as we're going to watch some of the early highlights from Razork, was actually a play top lane where Fnatic expended both of Noah's summoner spells, which then prompted Weibo to start the Baron.
And I think that this actually, weirdly enough, put Fnatic in a mindset where they're like, we're going to go for every single play that we can look for. And I think that with this composition, you do need to. The problem is just that it just doesn't allow you for a lot of mistakes, and that's what ends up backfiring.
Yeah, especially when you look at like Lee Sin trying to operate against the Talia, Maokai, same when you look at the Kalista, it becomes really, really difficult to try and take full-on 5v5 fights unless you have these massive leads. I think they kind of had to pivot it a little bit into, hey, maybe we can look for picks, and that's why we saw Razork going for these like sick plays that you got onto Xiaohu, but it just wasn't enough, especially when that Baron, as you were saying.
You also saw that the gold wasn't really moving that much, right? There wasn't that much gotten for Fnatic in return. This is the top play, I believe.
Yeah, so this is specifically, like, you can understand why Fnatic is going for this play, because they're thinking that Xiaohu has been someone that they've been able to pick on pretty much this whole series, but then specifically Noah burning ult, cleanse, and flash, and immediately Weibo say, this is our moment, let's just start. Another point is that Aphelios had an early game build. Chronicler was bringing this up. He had the Collector completed at this point, so they just kind of bait a Baron fight, and if they win this fight, their season stays alive, and likely they just win the game off of it.
Yeah.
And the thing was, you didn't even have to burn those summoner spells on top side. Noah messes up the cleanse on the Maokai ult coming in, which means that he actually just gets caught by the Maokai ult anyway. He's then nervous about the flash coming through from the Gnar, so he has to burn his own flash to make sure he doesn't go down, because that would have spelled Baron for Weibo as well. So it's unfortunate those like back-to-back misplays then end up giving Weibo that opportunity to go for this. And I think it's just incredibly sad, because at the get-go, they'd kind of avoided a lot of these fights for Fnatic. They were playing for these picks, but the second you make that mistake, that's when Weibo were able to come back into it.
Bit of a ticking time bomb. Aphelios, let's talk about him. Let's talk about him. He had a great debut in Heartsteel as well, and he's stealing my heart. And then just
he's reminding us why he's been like the best AD carry of the past 4 years. But let's figure out where it's going in these drafts. Because we have the game 1 and 2 draft, I believe, and it's not like he's going immediately. In fact, he's been a counter in both situations. So in the game 1 draft here, you can see the Renata was picked first by Weibo on the red side, which basically is signaling that they don't necessarily care the most about Aphelios. Then Orianna Aphelios is locked in. But then you go to game 2, and it's actually Kalista makes it through the bans. So therefore, Aphelios can go over to Weibo on the other side. I think that paradigm needs to shift. So rather than picking a Kalista here, or necessarily a Renata Poppy here, since this game 1 draft is more what we need to work off of, since Fnatic is going to be going back to blue side. I think either Fnatic has to pick Aphelios here, because Weibo's going to pick it on the 1-2 if they don't decide to ban it early on. That's the thing that I'm going to be watching for in this final game 3 draft.
It's like you made a face with a tear. I don't know what that spells. But.
I think the fact that you are moving over to the blue side is massive for Fnatic. I think, one, you open up the Xayah ban, which means that you don't have to ban it away. You can actually ban the Kalista and then go for the Aphelios yourself, which makes things easier. Also, I just really didn't like that rel flex.
Nope.
I think if you're going to take Kalista, you need to play an aggressive lane that enables her. But because you end up in a matchup where it's range versus melee, you're not able to exploit the Kalista as much as you would like in that bot side. And you end up in a position there where, what we saw, you're 20 CS down from the get-go, even with the early kill that had gone across the Kalista. I think there's so many mistakes that Fnatic had made on the red side and also got exposed a little bit themselves because they needed to take the Kalista. Coming back to blue side, I think you can shore a lot of that up and make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, as they go into this, of course, now both teams find themselves on match point, but nothing really changes because you're on the brink of elimination or the brink of qualification. The pressure could not be higher and has not been this high for either of these teams in this World Championship yet. We talked about kind of the clutches that Fnatic has been able to do in the past, but I add on to that a team that has some players, a Xiaohu, a TheShy, that have done tremendous things in their career as well.
Well, they did beat the Shy Aatrox. They made European history in game 1. But I'd say last year wasn't it for Fnatic, but they've had so many moments where when they can make a run on the final day to qualify for bracket stage, they have. 2017, they were 0-4 and made it. 2018, they beat IG twice to get the 1 seed. 2019, they 3-0'd the day against Clutch, T1, and RNG. So based on that history, this wouldn't even be that historic, but it definitely is a lot of pressure.
What I'm looking for from Fnatic is a draft that can actually team fight. I think that in the previous game, they were kind of hamstrung in way of what they were getting. Obviously, Aphelios is the pick we've talked about most, but any team fighting composition that still provides you with some power in the mid game is, I think, something that Fnatic is going to be happy with, given how well and controlled game 1 looked.
And I think it is control that bot side for Fnatic. If you can control Light, you control a lot of what Weibo want to do. We've seen Weiwei consistently go for 3 camps. We're going to dive bot, try and set up for Light. And I think Light kind of gets overshadowed in the LPL because you've got so many insane AD carries that come out of this region. But Light is an incredibly strong AD carry. We've seen him when he was on LNG, would step up massively alongside Iwandi. Now we're getting to see it on Weibo. Like, this is a guy that, when given resources, can carry, and you need to stop that from happening here.
And I think we've been clouded a little bit because the whole year, if you've been watching the LPL, you just get frustrated because they don't show their full potential, and that has been the story of Weibo. Pound for pound, all these players are amazing and have the highest highs, maybe, I'm not going to say bar none, but that's a lie, but very, very high highs. It doesn't often come together. It would be really unfortunate for Fnatic if this is the game that it all does.
It would, because the mid jungle has been bad for Weibo.
And usually Weibo
Xiaohu is a 3-time MSI champion, but has never actually won the championship at Worlds.
Spring Emperor,
He's
man.
been to 7 Worlds, yet it seems like the pressure is getting to him more now than ever before. Humanoid has always been a huge performer on the international
Put
stage.
that sign away. Put that sign
Don't
away.
do a Baron flip.
No.
That's possibly what this is going to come down to, because if we don't get an Aphelios diff, it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah, I mean, just going off of Jack's point, though, like, kind of going back to Xiaohu, it's like Spring belonged to Xiaohu and RNG in the LPL. It was Summer always belonged to EDG. Now, EDG didn't end up making it in the end, and it kind of feels like the time has shifted over towards JDG. But Xiaohu, it really feels like he needs to step up now on this world stage. He hasn't done it before, and if you can control that mid-jungle, it makes things 10 times easier for Weibo.
Who will it be? Who's going to step up in this final game for either Fnatic or Weibo with a spot in the quarterfinal on the line, or you go home? Take it away, Medifetti.
Thank you very much, Shox. And what a series we've had so far. Convincing game 2 from Weibo, convincing game 1 from Fnatic. Like, you know, to put it out there, it was very strong from both teams. Haven't really had that sort of mid-late game, both teams kind of winning fights battle as of yet. I'm hoping for it in game 3, I'm going to be honest.
This Aphelios is what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Where is it on the priority list for both these teams?
I think if you're a Fnatic fan, it's on Fnatic's side. And if you're a Weibo fan, it's probably on Weibo's side.
So, what do we know? Weibo highly prioritizes the Renata.
Yep.
They've also shown that they're willing to first pick the Orianna. Fnatic highly value a good mid lane matchup.
Sure.
And a lot of pressure has been put on Xiaohu. Individually, he's not having an amazing series, but he's having his moments.
Yeah.
So Fnatic's plan is to try and take Xiaohu off of his comfort and put the responsibility of carrying on other members of Weibo, which I think overall can be an effective strategy. Now they just need to refine it by making sure that they can give themselves strong team fighting. And Weibo need to limit Razork's impact. So they need to find ways to mitigate what he can do in the early game. And the way in which Fnatic is trying to do that is through either having a winning jungle matchup in the form of Lee Sin into Maokai, or by having a pushing bot lane 2 versus 2. So, with all that in mind, what will the first pick be? My speculation is Fnatic will still continue to prioritize things like the Orianna. I imagine Weibo will actually let that through in exchange for something like the Renata Maokai once again. The question then becomes, how will Fnatic deal with it? Or will they just, so there it is. There's the adaptation. The Renata is being banned away and not the Maokai.
Or the Kalista, which is what Fnatic banned the third
But I don't
time they
think
were on the blue
Fnatic
side.
care about it.
I agree. I'm just, compared to game 1,
That's fair.
that is the change, right? The Jarvan, Maokai, Xayah were Weibo's bans in game 1. Instead, the Orianna, now they're lock away. So where do Fnatic
Does
go
Maokai
first?
become-
Is it just Aphelios?
I mean, I would like that. I think it's a good first pick, personally. And they're going to do it. All right, so they've said, you know what, Noah, you're so far at this tournament, this has been your best champion. You talked about some stats earlier from his Aphelios. How many games has he lost this year on the champion?
Well, he's now played 17 games and lost 4.
He's only lost 4 games. So
And I will say, Noah, something we saw in the LEC playoffs was he does get quite nervous, or at least he did then, before games, and he'd talk about it on Twitter afterwards, giving him something he has been comfortable on at Worlds, and he has experience on, can alleviate some of those nerves.
now you open up Xiaohu's Azir.
Yep.
So you've taken a gamble. You've taken a pretty big gamble, because while a lot of your priority has been limiting the impact of mid lane, it is now being given back to him.
Yep.
One of his best performing champions. It's a scary thing to go up against. Already this team fight power of Weibo is looking strong. Are they really gonna, I mean, I do quite like Sylas into what they're showing. It also kind of pushes the idea of an Alistar as well.
Alistar, yeah, 100% agree with that. And now that is where Humanoid is going. He has had some pop-off performances on the Sylas throughout his career. Is it enough for game 3? Humanoid
And just lock in.
I was Sejuani, yeah.
Locked it in before I could speculate. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, just great champion with melee champions, the Sejuani. But yeah, does make sense. Go back to what works for you in game 1.
So
Now,
the
you
Weibo
don't.
EV.
I don't think you match. I think you can lock in top pair if you want. You can grab yourself something like the Cassante. You can then actually. Well, you have 2 choices. You can actually limit the top pool, but I don't think that matters. I think that if you're Weibo, you should consider pinching the support.
It's a toughie. It's a toughie
They're
because
probably-
Trymbi is so comfortable on so many different supports. We haven't seen much Rakan priority at all.
Well, I think Weibo is going to counterpick support regardless. So if you're going to counterpick, why would you limit the support pool?
True.
Unless there were things that you really don't want to have to deal with, or you really don't want paired up alongside an Aphelios. Something like Emilio wouldn't surprise me. The Nautilus is something that they've consistently banned throughout the series, so they're going to keep that ban going up.
I mean, Nautilus Sejuani also very strong if you can get early skirmishes. You have multiple different routes. You have multiple different forms of CC. It can be very tricky for people to get away from
I
that.
wonder if they're worried about Oscar's Jax, or if they're saying, we have TheShy.
Yeah.
Is it a situation where you sit there and go, matchup-wise, Jax could be a problem and something that we're a little bit worried about?
I mean, it's possible. But as you say, it is TheShy. Although his game 1 was a little disappointing from his fans' point of view, his game 2 was absolutely exceptional. He does have a lot of games on Cassante as well, his 6th most played throughout the course of his career. Oscar on Jax is something we've seen him bring out a few times, but not something I would say he dominates on too regularly. The Poppy, the ban for Weibo.
I feel like this might be a Zeri pick
Yeah.
for Weibo, I mean, the Poppy, that respect is being shown to Oscar. He demonstrated against Bin. Okay, they're taking away the Jinx, but I think the Zeri is a bigger threat for Light.
2nd most played this summer.
I wouldn't love a Kai'Sa here from Weibo. I think that it's too short range and it goes in. Caitlyn is another great one. Caitlyn, Zeri, long range, strong team fighting, good zone control. The traps combined with the soldiers, combined with the Maokai. A lot of space being generated and also still gives you a powerful 2v2 bot lane.
Also gives you the push often in the bottom lane because
It
the
can,
enemy can't
exactly,
step
yeah.
up. Does depend what support you.
Yeah, the supports are going to be
alongside it.
really important here. With Nautilus taken away, what are you thinking of? Because Emilio looks great right now for Weibo.
Okay.
Oscar's Olaf. I'm trying. Do you remember the last time he
have a
played
look.
it? Because No shot. Nah, no way. There's no way Fnatic is going to do that. He's hovering it. He's thinking about it, but surely not. I think it's way too ambitious against the Caitlyn.
Oscar brought out the Olaf against Heretics in LEC Summer. Did it in groups in spring as well. Has won every game he's played on it this year. I will say, played against Mad Lions, Astralis, and Heretics. TheShy, slightly stronger competition.
True.
And Lux Caitlyn gives you so much push in the bottom lane.
I liked everything else more than the Alistar.
Saying
man.
Hilly and Mickey have set the expectation. Okay?
I mean, that is a terrifying bot lane. Caitlyn Lux. It's something that Europe has never been good at.
Yeah.
And
or good at playing against as well.
They come to international competition and they get bullied. Don't get me wrong, if that bot lane loses a flash, then it's a lane that you can easily play around, but
they have to absorb a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's going to be so hard. And so the thing is, Weibo, what I think would be smart for them is a delayed invade bot side and try and split the map.
Yep.
Like completely isolate Noah and Trymbi and mitigate Razork's impact on the bot side of the map. Even if TheShy gets bullied, even if he goes 0-4, the question then becomes, do you think that an Olaf is strong enough to 1v9 the game? And could they even get Oscarinin ahead enough that he could even do that?
And what a weight on Oscar's shoulders that would be as well in his first Worlds, his first international.
So I like the adaptations that Weibo have made. I think that they've got a really good long-range composition. They feel like that it's going to come down to the team fights once again. Their front to back, again, is very strong. They've got so much zone control. And while Razork has had some great early games, he's going to have to find a way to unlock this bot lane for Fnatic. A lot of responsibility falls on Razork, as it has this series. We're jumping into Game 3.
One more time into the breach, my friends. Weibo and Fnatic fighting for a spot in the top 8 at the World Championships. On to Summoners Rift we go. And I can hear the heartbeats in Europe from here, Betty. No one under 150. Fnatic pushing out, guarding that bottom side of the map. Sometimes we see an Olaf look for an early invade as well. The undertow can do so much for you. I think Fnatic expecting the bot side invade are setting up. Now they dash forward. Everyone was ready to collapse, but no one there from Weibo. They just set up their lines of scrimmage. TheShy will walk in, place a ward. There's one in Pixel Bush as well from Weiwei. Razork's early pathing here will be tracked. If Oscar does look to invade, he'll be marked as well. It looks like Razork might be going forward, seeing maybe if they want that ward, maybe also they just want to make sure that Weibo weren't looking for something sneaky on the top side.
Minions have spawned.
There's still, before the storm to come, one of these teams will end their year. The other will move on to the quarterfinals. It's been a while since Europe has seen Fnatic in those quarters. Top Esports was their last best of 5, and they were so close to victory.
Started with success, Betty.
And Weibo, I mean, formerly Suning, of course, world finalists. A very different roster then to what we have now. But Weibo making it to the international stage and wanting to do LPL proud. All 4 seeds still in the tournament for the LPL. If all 4 were to qualify, I'm pretty sure this would be the first time ever in LPL's history that they got all 4 out into the quarters.
Often there is that one sacrifice.
There's always the one. Oh, and already whew, the damage is being dealt. Like, what can Alistar do in this lane, man? It is absolute misery. They signed up for this. And now look at the zone that's going to come out from Crisp. The harassment continues. Pushing lane top, pushing lane bot. Top side clear from Razork.
Humanoid looking to trade in the mid lane.
Nice
We'll get Xiaohu low. No ignite on the Sylas, though. Expected that he runs the TP, so just trading forward on his bot lane, struggling to even step forward in the lane. Oscarinin here pushed under the tower by TheShy early on.
Now, this Olaf will be difficult to deal with late into the game. Like, no one can stop it. That's the whole point of his ultimate. If he gets strong enough, he can just deal with a Caitlyn. Absolutely zero problem. And there's nothing that a Lux can do to protect that, right? Zero utility unless they're able to land that binding. And again, against an Olaf, that won't be a problem. But in this laning phase, it's just it's relentless. Just look at the poke. They're already going to get themselves a plate.
You can see Trymbi running the DMAT as well, knowing they're always going to be pushed in. Doesn't want to have to step forward for those cannon minions, so just DMATs tries to get Prio back. They're never going to manage it, but every small inch you can take back in a lane where the enemy's taking miles is always a bonus. Light and Crisp, though, doing exactly what the Doctor ordered for Weibo. Getting bot Prio, it's been so important through this series, and it allows Weiwei just that extra bit of safety. As Razork spots him out with the Scryer's Bloom. Oscar trading with TheShy. Shy has, and Tofu strikes, can knock back Oscar here, holding it. Knock up just wide as Oscar puts on his dancing shoes for a second.
Oh, he misses the bring back. He's trying to bring him underneath the tower. Oscar gets a nice trade.
Yes, Q3 again. Oscar needs to be careful.
Low on mana there. Yeah. But both top laners just skirting on the edge. TheShy trying to set up a bit of a freeze. And bottom crab secured for Razork. He's getting a bit of information. He'll find the respawn of the Raptors, and he should be able to steal those away, so great awareness there from him.
It's also, Weiwei decided to shadow Crisp and Light to make sure they weren't getting ganked, so he was in the bot side bush, allowing Razork that little bit of extra time. The Light binding into Lucent Singularity, once again finding Noah and Trymbi. Crisp running a little bit lower on mana, but I believe he pops a biscuit and he'll be okay.
Credit to Humanoid, he's also winning in this 1v1 matchup. I guess the Hail of Blades not coming out from the Azir. Oh my god, look at it. It's just...
If you step
really
forward,
fun.
you get light binding, you then get trapped and you're done for. So Noah has to step back through the Lucent Singularity there. It's going to be 2 plates as well. They know Razork was on the top side of the map a little while ago. No vision on him now, but Light and Crisp have the safety of a tri-bush ward. They have the safety of Xiaohu moving forward to ward around the Razorbeaks as well. And they are safe as houses down here with a 13 CS lead already.
Like, you can see how difficult it is for Noah to even hit the bottom CS because Light is standing on top of them, and if you try to get in range to auto them, they're just going to harass you back. It's such an oppressive bot lane 2 versus 2, and already, what's that, 600, 700 gold lead being built up for Weibo just off the back of these plates in the bottom lane, and the constant harassment. Relatively healthy for Noah, but he's going to need to go back to base soon, and that base is going to be the hardest thing to get. You can see once again Weiwei hovering around the bot side of the map.
Oscar trading. Pathmaker from TheShy, looking for the Q3, gets the knock-up shield from Oscar. Will keep him okay for the moment. Razork spotted on a ward. Weiwei not the same as he's managed to sneak his way in towards this bottom side. As always, the point of weakness for a Caitlyn Lux lane is after you've pushed this initial pressure, getting ganked on the 5, 6, 7 minute timer, which is why Weiwei is so often shadowing them, even to the detriment of his own jungle clear. But Crisp and Light have done a really good job of cycling through their vision. This tri-bush always warded by a 5-second gap between the vision that they have kept themselves, allowing them so much more safety. Because Trymbi can always look for the taxi, headbutt a minion, flash Q, or Q flash.
Yeah, just really good vision overall from Weibo. Keeping track of where Razork is, what he's up to. Yeah, he's built up a pretty big advantage jungle camp-wise, but frankly, it doesn't matter. Weibo knows that as long as they keep this Caitlyn healthy, they are chilling. The tower siege, the team fight threat they're going to have the longer this game goes on. And again, that's not to say that Fnatic don't have options in the team fights. We talked about this Olaf. This Aphelios can still be a threat. It's just about how strong are you when you get there. Yeah. And right now, this bot lane is struggling for Fnatic.
This world's so often defined by which AD carry is stronger in a fight as well. We have seen so many times fights turned on their heads, even Noah turning a fight on his head with a Moonlight Vigil Cataclysm combination against C9. Saw it in game 1, saw it in game 2. Oscar scaling up though. Trymbi spotted on a ward, and the vision control from Weibo has actually been exceptional. Pull back, Ragnarok used hit, but Oscar can't follow that any further. Was worried about the all-out combo. Glacial Prison used in the mid lane as Xiaohu is caught out, but he gets the knockback under the tower. Humanoid flashes away, Xiaohu with the shield, and Humanoid tanking the tower will fall! Xiaohu outplays the 2v1 in mid.
Xiaohu's Azir, he responds perfectly, throws the ultimate out. Humanoid takes a second, he double backs, thinking that he can get one last tick of damage in, but he can't, and he pays the price.
And you can see the damage that comes out if you're hit with a light binding into the snap trap. That's another plate going down as well as Noah tries to step forward. Good graviton for the root, but the Piltover Peacemaker comes out, and I don't think Light and Crisp have any mind to peace. They want war in this bottom lane, and Weiwei is here to facilitate it. Instead, he'll take the red, seal away the camps as the Rift Herald is being secure, but Light now with the ace in the hole, and ace in his pocket. There's the flash combo we talked about. The taxi flashed away by Light. Incredible reactions. Graviton gonna come down on Crisp, but Humanoid is trying to make his way down here as well. Flash is burnt from Light and Crisp, but they will be able to dance their way to safety. Ace in the hole, tanked by Trymbi, down to 100 HP. Dancing on the edge of death, the brink of the abyss. Able to survive, and now does have that unbreakable will as well, but what an unbreakable spirit Fnatic will need to survive this bot lane barrage.
This tower's going to take so much
He's
damage.
dead!
Oh, and they snipe him. Trymbi can't pop the ultimate in time. Crisp finds it, and look at how quickly this game feels like it's falling apart for Fnatic. Razork is not finding anything on the map right now. This tower is falling apart in the bot lane. Xiaohu gained so much off of that roam from Humanoid as well. Weibo are poised to end this series in convincing fashion.
And this is how you play an early game lead. Light and Crisp so far ahead, almost double CS in that bottom lane, and Noah and Trymbi an expected deficit, but they have been found wanting. Can Razork find something? Or Trymbi, in fact, find something in the mid lane? Xiaohu kept his flash through the dive underneath the tower earlier on, so he has that to survive any further aggression. A 2,000 gold lead now for Weibo.
And the Merc Treads picked up for Xiaohu means that that risk is so much lower of him getting ganked. And again, you see this jungle discrepancy, but it doesn't matter. So much vision has been invested early by Weibo to keep track of what was going on, where Razork was.
So Razork did walk over a ward as he came across.
But he tried to make it fast, like it didn't matter. And look at this hesitation. A Humanoid like double backs. And if he'd kept walking, there's a good chance he makes it out. Now who's in danger here? It's Crisp.
Has been caught out, has no flash, remember, but Weiwei is on his Weiwei as Razork tried to flash, but Crisp puts on an absolute clinic. He dances away from death. The final spark, a final dagger through the heart of Fnatic. Perhaps as Trymbi now in the meat grinder, but Noah's on his way. The Moonlight Vigil comes up short as Weiwei able to dance away as well. Weibo get out, they lose one, but it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Weibo, I mean, that's not a bad trade for them. Yes, they lost Crisp, but I mean, it was actually Crisp that ended up getting the kill. I guess depending on your perspective, could be a good thing. He is building AP.
Yep.
Weibo hold on to the gold lead for now. Well, looking back at the snipe that happened. Oh, well, we're going back quite a ways now. Trymbi not even level 6 yet. And the snipe that comes through. If Trymbi had popped the ultimate, maybe he would have had enough resistance to survive. Oh, actually, I think he tried to pop it
right
there.
at the end, just
but the animation not quite fast enough.
Yeah, you can see him pressing the R there.
He's frustrated. This game is falling apart very quickly for Fnatic. The TP comes in from Humanoid. He's trying his best to work with Razork to look for something. The chain CC, but Weiwei and Xiaohu quick to collapse themselves. Weiwei roots up Humanoid, prevents him from getting anywhere near him. The Humanoid ultimate stolen. Crisp gets that kill. And Weibo's then forced to retreat, seeing that Noah gets to the fight earlier. The ultimate from Noah not quite in range, means that they don't have the damage. But the game state doesn't really change here. The damage continues to come through from Weibo's bot lane, 111 CS. Chip, chip, chip. Cannon will be secured there by Noah. And Razork just doing his best to cover, resisting the potential dive.
But still, the vision control from Weibo allows them the luxury to step up this far in the lane. You can see Oscar starting to win some trades against TheShy, but you don't really want to dive. The Ragnarok can be extended a little bit, but as it expires, you don't want to be in danger of being pulled back underneath that tower. Xiaohu extending his lead in mid lane as well, 20 CS up. TheShy has flash.
So has ult. He has the damage to get the kill here. No TP for Oscar with his back being interrupted. TheShy rather can push that underneath the tower. Hell being spawned mid. Not optimal here. Weibo should be able to stop this. They're going to.
Razork coming in, but he's going to get locked up, and Weiwei can look for more. Instead, decides to go for the tower. Humanoid shuffles him back, and the tree is going Timber in the mid lane as Fnatic able to find one, get their second on the board. The Rift-Held Eye is open though, and Weibo can still look to deny the charge. Lucent Singularity doing a little bit of work. Trymbi trying to push this forward. Humanoid locked up. Trymbi going in. Xiaohu no flash, but the shuffle back as Humanoid tanks and Humanoid falls. And the damage now lacking for Fnatic. They'll get the charge in, but it's that enough for them as Trymbi continues to trade, but Xiaohu has had enough of this. Get the hell out of his mid lane. He finds two, and Light finds another in the bottom lane. It's 3 for Weibo in mid.
Fnatic are collapsing everywhere. 4 kills quickly picked up for Weibo. And Xiaohu's Azir, something that has been kept away from him this series, finally returns to his hands. And he finds himself with a 3-0-2 scoreline. The bot lane tower, 600 gold for Light. Fnatic are crumbling under the pressure of Weibo.
And the darkness starts to encroach for Fnatic. What can you do from here? 4,500 gold behind. Your towers now falling. They will fall quicker as the plates are lost. A 700 gold deficit in terms of just plates. But everywhere on the map, Weibo are ahead. The only saving grace is top lane is even. That's about it. And Razork has 1,000 gold lead. But when you look at that lane economy snapshot from MasterCard, the bot side of the map is a disaster zone for Fnatic and delight for Weibo.
I mean, it's a 2-level lead. Humanoid's about to get level 10, but the experience difference in mid is massive, and now Light is unlocked on the map. He can start just taking these towers completely uncontested. They chose this bot lane matchup with the Alistar. They knew they were playing into Caitlyn, and I thought that they would have answers, but they had nothing. Weibo have just oppressed them from start to finish, and whatever they tried to do to Xiaohu, they just could not lock him down. Now the Herald has begun. Oscarinin and TheShy maybe getting involved in the fight.
TP coming in as well from Humanoid. He looks to join the fight. Xiaohu TPing in as well as the objective is secured. The Rift-Held taken down. Humanoid was looking for Crispy. He can't quite get in. Weiwei flashing away as the Ragnarok tries to get to the backline, and Weiwei falls to Olaf. TheShy pulls Noah back, but now he's separated from the rest of the team. Olaf gets 2. A shutdown for Oscar. And the ace in the hole flashed away as Noah heals up with a Severum. Trymbi now is going to get the knock up on TheShy. What a fight! What a moment, a brief glimpse of light, perhaps, at the end of a dark, dark tunnel for Fnatic.
I mean, it's 3 kills and a Herald. Oscarinin proving how this Olaf can be a threat in the fights. The CC is not enough to keep him chained down. We're going to look back at this kill in the bot lane. Oh, the headshot into the crit, into the kill. Nicely done there by Light. But looking back at this fight, look at the positioning of Oscarinin. You see him skirmishing with TheShy at the top. Weiwei's going to be forced out of the fight very quickly. Humanoid going to steal away the Maokai ultimate. No. Yes, he does. He steals away the ultimate, comes through.
Humanoid now caught, though.
Yeah, he's dead.
Headshots from Light. Taking heads, taking names.
They can't afford to make those mistakes. That was a massive play that they found. I believe the Herald was dropped top, so they did get a bit of gold back. The deficit not quite as dramatic as earlier.
It's still 2,500.
It's still 2,500.
Weibo still very much in control of this game. A momentum swing, but not a momentum shift over these last few moments. Xiaohu now Nash's Tooth complete, almost at his second item. In an incredibly powerful position, and towers basically forfeit when you're against an Azir Caitlyn in this sort of power in the mid game. Razork trying to come in from the side here, but Weiwei and Crisp are here to defend their mid laner. I think Xiaohu, after a disappointing performance against Mad Lions in game 1, a disappointing performance in this game as well, has once again shown why so often he is amongst the best on the world stage.
Look back at this fight once more. Nice stuff there from Oscarinin, getting access onto the backline. And the fact that he trades it, that shield comes back to sustain as well.
Honey fruit as well.
That's the terrifying thing about this Olaf. If he gets strong enough, he can do a nice flash there from Noah. That could have gone very wrong, but he does get away with his life. But Fnatic showing that their teeth are still sharp. They're not completely down and out yet. Light, though, continues to be a nuisance for Fnatic.
It's kind of why it was nerfed on the current patch. Your ability just to fire an ace in the hole on a relatively short cooldown means the enemy AD carry or any enemy squishy is half HP before the fight really begins. And Light using it to full effectiveness here. Weibo gaining control of the bottom side of the map with a minute on the Drake. It would be their third soul point. You wonder if Fnatic will decide to fight over a Chemtech Drake, often left as one of the less impactful Drakes, but when fights are close, and when you have an Olaf as well, if you can get that Chem Soul, it can be very powerful in the right hands. Cassante as well uses it to full effectiveness.
Weibo doing a good job of controlling this bot side of the map vision, just using crisps and Weiwei's kit to check all of these brushes, make sure that they're safe, forces Fnatic out of any potential picks. Anyone that, well, knows League of Legends, knows of the Fnatic brush. You think it's one, but it's all of them. They'll do it anywhere. But not today. Weibo will deny that. Dragon spawn 24 seconds. And you imagine that this one will be largely uncontested. That tower won't fall. Okay. Second item, the third one being worked on for Light. 2 items completed for Xiaohu. The power spikes are just there for Weibo and Fnatic. If they want to fight now, it would be pretty insane, but it seems unlikely with the power that Weibo is currently sitting on. Weibo want this dragon, they want this fight, they have TPs on the TheShy, same for Humanoids. But this chip damage as well that's going to keep coming out from Chris.
TheShy looking for Humanoid as well.
Look at how tanky
Although
he is.
Oscar probably wins that matchup, I'm not sure Humanoid does, sitting on only the Leandries and a couple of components. TP now in by TheShy. Fnatic trying to get the mid priority so they can then work around. Still vision behind them. They were unable to clear that all out, and now with TheShy as a front man leading the Phalanx. Weibo have to look to see if they can catch out Fnatic. Fnatic do get mid prio for the moment, but TheShy waiting in this bush will be able to deny them more. Final spark takes Trymbi down to half. He still has that unbreakable will. Razork looking for someone. Xiaohu, the target. Glacial Prism hits, and they all flash forward, but Xiaohu flashes away, and the light binding finds 2. Nature Scars coming out from either side as they try to get onto the back line. The Ragnarok is not enough as Weiwei kills off Oscarinin. Light able to flash away towards the top side as well, and now it's all on Noah, but he's pulled back with the all out, and Weibo are all in. They find 2. Razork running for the hills as Humanoid dives forward, but Crisp still survives. Xiaohu down 3-0 in favor of Weibo, almost 4 as Noah tries to step in, make it 4, make it more as Weibo turn their eyes to Baron.
Everyone walks away alive, blinking health bars, but it is enough. The snipe from Crisp will not find Razork, and Fnatic are left with little. Light came so close to death, but he flashes away. Xiaohu the same. Those summoners providing all that they need. You see the initial health bars. The engage looks promising for Fnatic. A very quick response from Xiaohu gets him to safety. The return engage from Humanoid, but it's Oscarinin alone. The peel is good enough. Light flashes away on the side, and then with everyone now safe, they can play the front to back. They can play the chase down. TheShy locking up Noah, getting his summoner spells.
So much as well.
Just a fantastic fight all across the board from Weibo.
Crisp hit every binding in that. When Fnatic engage, he finds 2. When Light's running away, he finds Trymbi to stop him getting the chase down. And Weibo just play the fight perfectly.
It feels like the final nail in the coffin for Fnatic. These fights, if they had a little more gold, maybe they could have swung differently. You could see how close the damage was, but those spikes were different. Maybe Fnatic should have waited a little longer. But that's all hindsight now. Level 14, Caitlyn knocking on the doors of Fnatic's base.
With the Baron buff remaining, this Red Bull Baron power play continues for the next 2 minutes. And Fnatic, do you just give up the inhib? They'll mount a defense, but with Humanoid in top, you have to feel the defense won't last for long. The final spark again. The final light extinguished from Fnatic. Noah forced back to base. Their inhibitor tower brought to its knees. The team brought to its knees in the face of Weibo. TheShy finds Trymbi again. And Weibo continue to find their man. Trymbi locked up, has to pop the unbreakable will. Oscarinin trying to defend at the Nexus Towers here as Humanoid is going to stop his base. They are giving up double inhibitors, but will they give it all? Weibo continues to push in. The cannon minion there as TheShy can tank, but the cannon minion won't get in range. Humanoid still looking for that objective bounty. A bounty albeit small, might be
I don't know if
something for Fnatic, and I agree, Betty. I don't know if they can hold. The Glacial Prison finds Chris, but he's able to survive. The Ragnarok comes out. The Moonlight Vigil does nothing as Weibo continue to advance, and now perhaps they take a moment, they retreat, but Light says no. He steps back forward, has that red for the slow, and the Nexus towers begin to be brought to the ground. The engage from Razork. Noah trying to do what he can as TheShy is forced down towards the bottom side. Trymbi down as he looks for an engage. TheShy goes all out, and Noah has a brief moment of light here. Xiaohu goes in with the Emperor's Divide. Noah has red, white, great guns for the fight. Oscarinin getting forward, but Chris has the stopwatch, and Light has his man again. Ace in the hole, a dagger through the heart of Fnatic. They've been doubted, they've been denied, and they've been discarded. But Weibo smoke the doubters.
A clean game 3 from Weibo. They knew exactly how to deal with Fnatic's comfort. They saw that Aphelios lock in, and they respond with Xiaohu's Azir and Light's Caitlyn. 2 incredible performances. Weibo with the better team fighting, and another LPL team will join their brothers in the quarterfinals.
Just one more to go for the LPL. BLG knocking on the door as well. Fnatic put up a good fight game 1.
A valiant effort.
Probably the best I've seen them play, maybe this year.
Definitely one of their best performances. It gave hope to the European fans. There was optimism, but at the final hurdle, they could not make the jump. Big shout out to Razork. Fnatic has had a very difficult year overall, but this man has come up clutch so many times for the organization, helped bring them here.
And they take about...
It will be a frustrating loss for these players. They knew that they were close. They were optimistic that they could do more, but they could not do it. It was Weibo's day today. They will move forward to the quarterfinals.
And they're back amongst the best.
And they're back amongst the best.
Obviously, commiserations to Fnatic. It hits hard, especially getting that close with game 1 being such a convincing performance, but Weibo did it all. You know, Oppo player of the series, Light, he had an incredible performance. The Aphelios, the Caitlyn in games 2 and 3, the reason the team did so well. We'll give credit to Crisp as well. He really performed in that final game and across the course of the series, obviously.
I mean, all good AD carries are a product of their supports, right? I mean, but he really was so incredible in the fights. His positioning continued to be perfect, and just the way in which he played the lane in the bot lane was fantastic. Great stuff from him, great stuff from the bot lane of Weibo. And this is a bot lane that you'll have to keep your eyes on moving forward in the tournament. A lot of very strong AD carries, and he just adds his list to the names.
His name to the list, in fact?
Name to the list, that
one. The thing is, he's getting another list, right? Because he, like Yagami, he's got his Death Note ready.
True.
He's already crossed off Noah. Who's next is the question. We'll find out in the draw show after the G2 BLG series. Those quarterfinals still up in the air. And again, Fnatic tried their best. Oscar as well in that game, impressive. Did exactly what he needed to do, especially in his
It wasn't a game
split.
about top lane, right? It was all about the bot lanes, and credit to Noah, he did what he could. But Weibo came out on top.
Yep, and they did. And as we gear up for the final series of Worlds 2023 Swiss stage, in fact, let's check out some behind-the-scenes pictures of yesterday's action through the eyes of the Oppo Cam.
passing knows no manners. I'm finding comfort in hope.